Hey guys, thanks for cooking with Tammy. As we transition from summer to fall, I have the perfect recipe for you guys. Today I'm going to show you how to make my signature ground turkey zucchini veggie lasagna. If that doesn't sound tasty, guys, I don't know what does. So with that being said, let's get started. The ingredients that we're going to need are 1 scallion, also known as a green onion, 4 sprigs of fresh parsley, 6 sprigs of fresh cilantro, 2 sprigs of fresh basil, 2 Roma tomatoes, as well as half of a red bell pepper and half of a green bell pepper, 1 medium yellow onion, 1 teaspoon of red chili flakes, 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, 3 teaspoons of kosher salt, 2 teaspoons of flavor enhancer, 1 teaspoon of paprika, and 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper, 2 to 3 tablespoons of raw brown sugar, 1 box of lasagna shells, and 1 48-ounce package of lean fresh ground turkey, and 36 ounces of your favorite tomato sauce. Usually a bottle of tomato sauce is about 24 ounces, so I'm going to use a bottle and a half. 1 zucchini, 8 ounces of fresh baby spinach, and 32 ounces of ricotta cheese. 2 large eggs, and 1 8-ounce package of Parmesan cheese, as well as 8 ounces of 6-blend Italian cheese, and 1 8-ounce package of mozzarella cheese. For our utensils, we're going to need a sharp knife, as well as a cooking spoon, aluminum baking pans, and 2 large pots. First things first, I'm going to start by slicing my red and green bell peppers. When finished, I'm going to move on to slicing my Roma tomatoes. I'm going to dice my yellow onions and rough chop my fresh parsley, cilantro, and basil. Moving right along, I'm going to slice my green onions and my zucchini. Now that everything is sliced, chopped, and diced, I'm going to move on to preparing my ricotta cheese mixture. I'm going to start by taking my ricotta cheese out of the container and adding it to my bowl. Cracking 2 eggs, be sure to whisk the eggs properly before adding it to the ricotta cheese. Once the eggs are added to the ricotta cheese, I'm going to mix and combine both of the ingredients really well. To jazz up the ricotta cheese a bit, I'm going to add a handful of mozzarella cheese, as well as 6 cheese Italian blend and Parmesan cheese. At this point, I'm going to give the mixture a quick stir to make sure everything is combined. Okay, so it's now time to add the spinach to the ricotta cheese. And as you can see, I'm adding a handful of spinach at a time. I find it so much easier to incorporate the ricotta cheese with the spinach when you add a handful at a time. And as you can see, I'm using my spatula to combine all of the ingredients. Once the ricotta cheese and spinach mixture is combined, I'm going to place it in the refrigerator to stay cool. Using one of my large pots, I'm going to take about 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of olive oil and place it into a medium flame preheated pot before adding my onions, green onions, also known as scallions, and minced garlic. Give the herbs a quick stir to infuse all of the flavors. We're going to cook the onions until they become translucent before adding the ground turkey. Adding the ground turkey to the pot, using a spoon, I'm going to chop the turkey into small pieces. It's now time for us to add the spices to the ground turkey. I'm going to start by adding kosher salt, flavor enhancer, ground black pepper, onion powder, paprika, and red chili flakes. I find that adding the spices to the meat while it's uncooked helps the flavors of the spices to infuse a lot better throughout the meat. After about 10 minutes, this is what the ground turkey looks like. I'm going to add the tomato sauce and continue to stir. After combining the tomato sauce with the ground turkey, I'm going to add fresh parsley, as well as fresh cilantro, fresh basil, green bell peppers, red bell peppers, and the zucchini. After all of the ingredients are added, combine all of the ingredients together. You have to admit that this ground turkey mixture is so beautiful and so healthy. I allowed the turkey mixture to simmer for about 10 minutes before adding the tomatoes as well as the brown sugar. I'm using raw brown sugar, so it takes a little bit more to give a little added sweetness. However, if you're using granulated sugar, you can feel free to use about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons. After adding the first tablespoon, I would definitely combine the sugar throughout the mixture and taste it before adding the second tablespoon. I find that adding sugar definitely takes away the acidity within the tomato sauce. And I can be honest with you guys, my family and I, we love lasagna. When we eat lasagna, we dig in. And we really don't have time for the acid reflux, if you get what I mean. So it's been about a total of 15 to 20 minutes that the sauce has been on the stovetop. At this point, I'm just allowing the sauce to thicken up a bit before I turn the stovetop off. Moving right along, guys, I have about 4 to 5 quarts of water, and I've placed a couple of tablespoons of olive oil into the water to prevent the noodles from sticking together. I've added about 4 to 5 lasagna shells or noodles into the water. I'm going to allow it to boil until the noodles become al dente before removing it and placing it onto my plate to rid of the excess water. Be mindful, guys, not to overboil the lasagna, because let's not forget we're going to put the lasagna into the oven to cook or bake even more. So definitely follow the instructions on the back of the box. When boiling lasagna noodles, you definitely don't want to overcrowd the pot. So I usually boil about 4 to 5 lasagna noodles at a time, or as much as my pan can hold at one time, if that makes any sense. When the first set of lasagna noodles are finished, continue to repeat the same process. While the lasagna noodles were boiling, I allowed the ground turkey mixture to sit and cool for a bit. At this point in time, guys, I'm going to spoon the ground turkey mix into the bottom of the aluminum pan. Taking the lasagna noodles, I'm going to place it onto the ground turkey vertically. Once the noodles are laid flat, I'm going to take the ricotta cheese mixture. Yes, guys, it's been a minute, but I hope you didn't forget about the spinach ricotta cheese mixture. Taking the spinach ricotta cheese mixture, I'm going to place it on top of the lasagna noodles. Taking your time, guys, when spreading the spinach ricotta onto the lasagna noodles is key. Be sure to spread it onto the noodles evenly as well. After the ricotta cheese is spread onto the noodles, we're going to repeat the same process by taking more turkey ground meat and placing it on top of the ricotta cheese mix. See, guys, making lasagna is not hard at all. It may consist of a lot of steps, but once you start to make it more and more, it becomes easier and easier. As you can see, guys, I'm taking a handful of the Italian 6 cheese blend as well as Parmesan cheese, and I'm going to sprinkle it on top of the meat before placing more lasagna shells on top. The key tip to prevent your lasagna from falling when cutting into it is to place your noodles horizontally and then vertically, or vice versa. Once again, I'm going to spoon more spinach ricotta on top of the noodles, followed by adding more cheese, before placing meat on top of the ricotta. I'm placing this set of noodles vertical. Make sure all of the surfaces are covered with noodles, so that way, like I said before, when you cut into it, your lasagna is going to stand straight up. As you can see, I'm placing more cheese onto the spinach ricotta before placing ground turkey on top. Once I add the ground turkey for the last time, I'm going to place more cheese on top of the ground turkey. Be sure to top the lasagna with a good amount of cheese, so once the lasagna is finished baking, it would be nice and cheesy. Once I'm finished topping the lasagna with cheese, I'm going to cover it down with another aluminum baking pan. Only because, as you can see, the lasagna is literally to the top. And if I was to use aluminum foil to cover the lasagna down upon baking and removal of the aluminum foil, it would literally tear off the cheese and the meat from the lasagna. And of course, guys, after all of this hard work, that doesn't make any sense. After 45 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit, guys, this is what you have. Your ground turkey zucchini veggie lasagna. Oh my goodness, absolutely beautiful. As always, guys, thanks for cooking with Tammy. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and rate. And most of all, enjoy.